At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Ja.
Welcome to another session of Focus on Liberia. I am your co-host, Gabriel Carter. Today, we're going to be talking about data integrity. I think this is a very interesting topic considering where we are with the elections and the data that surrounds it. So we're going to be talking about data integrity today, and we have someone who is pretty much an expert in our area, Dr. Molaba. And he's going to be walking us through that today. These guys are our number people. Myself, I'm number president, but I'm on the finance side. But these guys are like numbers, data people, including Jimmy as well. So we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about that today, and to actually put it in the context of the election and try to make sense of, how the data, the quantum of data that is coming out of the NEC, and even the one that are coming out from the public as well, can be one, authenticated, validated, and also how we can put it in the context of the election. Dr. Molova, welcome. I know this is probably my third time interacting with you. Every time I talk to you, it's like I'll always learn something new. So it's always a pleasure having you on the show. Welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you very much, Brother Carter.
Yeah.
Jimmy. I'm happy to be here once more.
Yeah, perfect. And we were looking to learn. Jimmy, I know you're satelliting today, but thank you for always joining and thank you for putting this together. I know usually we talk about economics and finance on the show, but I think we kind of pivoted with this whole election to talk about contexts that are related to the election and trying to make sense of it. So thank you for satelliting.
I see we also joined by Mr. Coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Larry, Alex, welcome. I didn't think you were going to join, but good to have you here.
Yes, thank you. I had to come on. I have a program I'm attending today.
Yeah, I can see.
And, but in the meantime, let me maybe for an hour or so, let me join the program. So if you can
Yeah,
wrap it
man.
up in an hour, then I'll be here.
Yeah. Well, we gotta do that. You look what it could call dapper, dapper. You look like money, you know.
Very spiffy, very
Dapper
spiffy.
down, yeah.
Thank you.
You going to the
But anyway,
inauguration now or what?
Inaugural?
yeah, that was a joke.
That's
That's
the
a long
biggest joke.
joke.
That's the biggest joke of the day. I'm going to something else, my friend.
Yeah,
I'm going to something in Dallas, in South Dallas.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Well,
here we
I'm a
are.
friend Texas. I'm Houston today
Oh,
myself.
Hello,
sorry.
Dr. Malaba, right?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Alice Coffee, sir?
I'm good.
Nice to meet you.
It's good to meet you too.
Okay, so sorry, Jimmy, I kind of caught you off while you're talking.
Yeah, so the reason for this particular subject today is because as we all know, we recently went through an election, and as the data and information is being collected and transmitted, we thought best that we invite an expert on data, Dr. Mulba, and examine the procedures and the collection methods that are currently being used so that people will have an idea of whether we're doing things in a normal fashion, that things are not skewed in another direction, and so that they too can evaluate the quality of data that they're receiving. Okay, there is a specific protocol and method of how to collect data during an election. It also, if before Dr. Malva comes in, I'm just going to give you an overview. First, it is observed. The observers, they look at what preparations were made prior to the elections. Okay, were the procedures leading up to the elections professional? Were there any methods that were not conventional? Were there any hampering of voters getting able to make their contribution, make their votes, and all of that? So all those things that led up to the election is collected, and once the first voter casts his votes, that section is closed. Then the second report that is sent is when the election polls, when the polling places close. That is an observation of all the things that went on during the polling. Was there intimidation? Were the ballots that were submitted, were they cataloged in a professional fashion? And later, was the information that received from the polls disseminated, sent back to the database or the data center in a more professional way, so as not to cause reason for suspicion or any other confusion. You and I both know we've been hearing complaints of the trickling down of data to these data centers. Some people are beginning to be suspicious of this method, but we do know typically from rural areas, from past experiences, you will get data slower coming from rural areas than you were from urban areas, for the obvious reasons, because data has to be transmitted. We're talking about bits and bytes, okay? If it's going to be electronically transmitted, if it's going to be transmitted through conventional means like auto vehicle, and that it takes time to get those votes, those ballots back to it. So these things are supposed to be expected, but we're going to let Dr. Moba elaborate on data collection in the elections, and generally what are the best practices.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's start with this diagram to lay the foundation. So the top orange is objective. So the objective here is to have an election or whatever program you want to have.
Mhm.
You understanding the data. You have to understand what type of data you're going to collect and how you're going to treat it. Once you get the data, you clean the data because no data is 100% cleared. It
Yeah.
comes with anomalies, outliers, duplicates, you name it. We clean the data. We don't just use it, we clean it.
Mhm.
After cleaning it, data enhancement, which means you categorize, you try to put it in maybe Excel spreadsheet the way you want to report it. You put it in a readable, presentable fashion. Then you do your data analytics. That's where you say how many people voted, how many, all those little things that NEC is announcing now. They are in the data analytics phase telling you 10 people from here, 15, whatever. That means they have done some of these previous steps. Then data visualization, well, you can put it on NEC website, you can put it in pie chart, bar chart, or Excel tables, and you see this person has this percentage and this person. That's the data visualization. Okay. Then if you find a need to refine the process, you go back to the objective and repeat the circle.
Mm.
The problem I see here that I'm hearing is that they may do the objective, they may understand the data, but the data cleaning is what is not done. And then they project. That's wrong. And the only authority that we have to do the data cleaning with the tool necessary is NEC. NEC has the capacity, the equipment to do this data cleaning, data enhancement, data analytics, and then announcing the results. Those who are data scientists out there who have had their own war rooms and providing the data and telling people that this person has won, they fail at the orange number 3 data cleaning. They don't do it. So they take the data from the field and then skip data cleaning, possibly skip data enhancement, possibly skip data analytics, and then data visualization and portray the numbers that this person has won. So you skip 3 steps because you don't have the capacity or maybe the knowledge to do it, but you just want to announce numbers. So we are here to say NEC is the official guardian. Give NEC the chance to do this and come out. Any other thing other than NEC announcement is, to me, is not involved. It violates the basic cycle you just saw. So this is a simple message I have. And you know what? Doing this, providing these sort of numbers to the public and giving them the assurance that XYZ has won, it creates another problem because the followers of that candidate will go to bed and relax for inauguration. Okay, for inauguration. And then if NEC comes out and doesn't say what they expect, do you see what's going to happen?
Yeah.
The potential will be there. So these people who are doing this thing should try and give NEC the chance, because now you said the expectation. So even say there will be no runoff because our candidate run landslide. What did he get from our war room? Okay, so those followers, millions of people go and relax. Say, well, we're going to have inauguration. If NEC comes out and says there is a runoff, do you see what happens? They're not going to accept it because the Messiah has told them the person has won. It's not only one party. I've heard most of the party claiming that the people won from the war room. If that's the case, then what is the essence of NEC? Despite you may have all sort of think about NEC, but this is the commission body that is authorized by the government to provide the results. So they say, some saying if NEC result does not match our war room, there is problem. So we're trying to tell the public, authorized bodies, NEC, and they cry, wow, 10 days. But NEC was commissioned to provide the final result in 10 days. So they can take as many times as they want. You have to give them the thing on the 10th, 15 days. On the 10th, they made the election. So on the 25th, she's under obligation to give final results. And in between, they give preliminary. So that is the agency you have commissioned. So any other result coming outside of this agency activity is meant to cause confusion. And then people accept this result. They're not looking for no other result. So This is the message I have for tonight. I can stop here for questions.
Alex,
Yes, sir.
any follow-up questions for Doc or perspective to what he just said? So
Yeah, I mean, talking about
go
data
ahead.
in the general sense of data, I mean, followed by the diagram you prepared. What I heard from you is that yes, we do know it's the Elections Commission that is the authority to give the final result, but we also know that the data collection process in the election, especially with Liberian election, has what we call the tally sheets. And everybody that was present in the room, including the election people, the observer, and the party officials that represented all the parties, were privy to that document. And they too took a snapshot of those documentation. So they all have that documentation as well as the NEC has it. We know that NEC is the one that is supposed to give the final. Nobody else can give it. Dr. Molubase can give it. I cannot give it. No party can give it. But at least we have the public has something in the hand that represent what that final data should be. So that is why people are saying that, we have it in our hands and we have our documentation, and we want the NEC to do what is right by the people. So what do you say about that?
Okay. Every data set has noise or dirt that need to be removed. How do these people account for duplicates in the tally sheets?
Mm-hmm.
How? Anomalies, outlier, how do they account for it before they announce the result? Will you tell me how they do that?
I'm not a data specialist.
So that's where the problem is. Data cleaning is what they're incapable of doing. They take the numbers, snapshot, they go and write it in an Excel spreadsheet. But what if on that sheet, someone voted somewhere else? What's the duplicate? NEC can catch it because they have the software. That's why we call data cleaning. These anomalies, these duplicates coming on, and you cannot account for it because you just add up. What you're doing there, you are just aggregating numbers, including errors, and you're pronouncing it. You don't have the means to clean the data. You don't have the means to dedupe. We call something called dedupe. That's a dedupe. You have to dedupe the process. Every election will have duplicates. They will have different anomalies. And NEC has that capability. They have the software to catch, to track, to alert before going further. But this war room, they just take the number and add up. Anybody can add it.
So
yeah, go ahead.
I have two other questions for you.
Okay.
And I'm asking this question because I need to understand something, and I need to use my question so that the public also, based on what we are hearing in the public, so that the public also can understand from your expertise, vantage point. Now, everybody else who is not a data scientist like you are is a layman like myself. So all we see is the election commission, people go in and vote. I'll describe the situation. They put the ballot sheet, and they take out somebody and they put it in there. And then at the end of the day, they take the ballot boxes and count. 1, John Brown, Peter Paul, this other person. They collate all that and they say, okay, John Brown got, in this polling place, John Brown got 13 votes, Peter Paul got 0, Paul and Mary Joseph got 10. And they put it on the tally sheet that is already prepared. They put it on the tally sheet, they handwrite it on the tally sheet, and everybody will witness that. And that is put on the board. And that's where everybody take the picture. So that is taken to NEC data center. I understand that they have 19 data centers. Few countries have 2, and most countries have 1. And that is supposed to be taking those numbers from the tally sheet. First of all, they're supposed to make sure that that tally sheet represents what the official tally sheet that was given by NEC. And then they take that and put it in the database in the computer. And I understand that all the computers from the data center should be networked and they show up at the NEC. So it's from that computer that NEC is going to read.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to bring all the ballot boxes to NEC for NEC to, do correction and all that stuff. It's at those different centers. So what kind of data cleanup and what kind of data spoofing or whatever they are doing at those centers?
Good. You remember the biometric exercise that went on? The biometric,
the sensors.
How many were disqualified by NEC? How many votes were disqualified?
The votes?
Yes. How many votes were disqualified? You didn't remember?
They're invalid votes.
Yeah, okay. How many the invalid vote, right?
There are thousands of them.
Okay, so you don't expect invalid vote to be in this one? This one I just passed on
the invalid vote was already accounted for by the fact that if you make a mistake.
That was a test. That was a test. This is the real one. There will be invalid vote in this one. There
are invalid votes.
Okay, then so how this war room, how do they account for the invalid vote? Because NEC is going to announce invalid vote because they know how to do it. How would these people who have this number now? How do they never accounted for invalid vote? They took everything 100%, and they were that in there.
No. The
tally sheet is not 100% correct.
Excuse me, sir. On the tally sheet, there are invalid votes. In the polling center, when the tally sheet is marked, at the bottom there they have an invalid vote section.
Okay.
That is, for example, if somebody juked their pen in somebody's face, right? Like he's so mad that he juked his pen, or he mistakenly crossed the whole line over 2 or 3 persons' name. That ballot sheet is invalid. It's counted. So as they are counting the ballots for John Peter Paul, they are also counting the one that are invalid.
Nope. I'm sorry to disagree. The entire data set is sent to NEC. NEC has the authority to determine invalid votes. Not at the tally center. I'm sorry. It can't be. You see, what happened here is the group is missing. If you can put that chart up again, the data cleaning section. That's where the war rooms are missing. They are missing that. Yes, just the orange right there. Data cleaning and data transformation. That's where the war rooms are missing. They don't have the capability to do that. So they take it as a CA as raw value and pronounce it. This is where NEC has the advantage over them. Okay, you can take it if you want to.
Yeah, and that was I think that was one of the caution that we were advocating for on here. But I think we advocated for that because the way you explained it, we didn't explain it that way. We just said, I think probably 2 or 3 days ago, we just said, hey, you cannot just take what other war rooms are putting out as the official data, right? What if the NEC comes out and say you declare this person winning, and NEC come out and say, oh, this other person won when you expected that? That could create chaos. But I'm glad you explained it the way you explain it, because there could be discrepancy from the tally and what NEC officially authenticated and said this is the official number, and that's based on after they've gone through that whole data processes and done what they've done, and that's the thing we don't want to understand in this whole process. And I'll continue to caution people. It is okay for people to come out and say, oh, this person won, but I don't think the candidate themselves need to validate those numbers, because once you validate it, it becomes something that your voters, your supporters now think it is authentic, contrary to what NEC is waiting to put out. And that's what the problem is. We have it here in the United States here. During election time, the different media station, they will call, they will project, right? They project. That's the reason why they say project, right? until those official number comes out. Then they can go back and say, yeah, we projected such and such. This is what come in. But the number they project usually end up being less than what will actually officially
Yeah.
exactly. So I don't know. It's why we find that as a problem, but we don't see
Well,
that as a problem, and understand that that could create chaos. It's
yeah,
okay if I support someone to say, hey, I think this person's going to win, but that candidate should not validate my excitement and say, oh yeah, you know what the voters are saying about me, that is true. I'm going to win. When you do that and it doesn't happen in a fragile society as we are,
that's
that's a
it.
big problem. Yeah. Yeah.
And a simple example about data cleaning is I like to give a data lab situation. You go water side, let's say you buy a sour fish. You bring it home. You're not going to put it in a pot and cook it, right? You have to take out the guts, take out the scale. That's data cleaning. You prepare the cassava fish in a way that you eat it won't harm you. That's a simple example of data. Every data, no matter where you take it from, primary data, secondary data may be okay, but you still have to vet it. And in this case, it's primary data we're collecting. It has noise in it, which we call noise, anomalies and other things that must be taken care of. So you don't grab the fish, just cook it, like you take out the guts and scale and other things, prepare it. So this is what we're talking about. Now here's why I came on this air today. Is I'm afraid that people are already agree, people who follow, people who claim they won with the data. They've already taken the side and sitting waiting for inauguration.
Yeah.
Now, should NEC come out and say something contrary? Do you see the potential for problem? We need to inform our people that wait on NEC. Okay, you got your result, you can celebrate however you want, but let NEC do the job and come up. If any candidate is not satisfied, there's a court to go. So this is just a message.
So I
Yeah.
have
Allow me to give me 1 minute, if you don't mind,
Yeah,
Gabriel.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Their data cleaning does not, it addresses several issues. It addresses missing data.
Right.
We noticed that there was one report about ballot boxes getting missing. Complete ballot boxes. Now, how many instances did that occur? If you can have ballot boxes going missing, how about ballots? Okay, so cleaning data also is recovering missing data and addressing issues of missing data. Another aspect of cleaning data, there are times when we call there is rogue data that is entering the system. Rogue data is identified as data that is incorrect. Okay, and usually when you see rogue data is because some procedural practices were violated in the casting or counting of votes. So that also is another thing that has to be addressed.
Yeah, anomaly, yes.
So cleaning what we're looking at is sometimes merely collating data. This is what most people do. They add it. They say they add this one to that. That is called collating data. Now, collating data is simple, but how do you address issues that you do not see? Remember, Liberia in the 19 something went down at having
85.
more votes than the electorate. Okay? Obviously, data was not cleaned because no way you will produce more votes than there are people. And this is what we're saying. There are mechanisms that are available to the anything that they must use so that when they finally project the winner, all these things are taken into consideration, and everybody feels that they were treated fairly. Because right now we're beginning to hear all kinds of things from different sources.
Yes, and something else that invalidates the celebration is the day they were celebrating, people were still voting in another part of the country. So how do you account for those votes? People are still voting when you say you want a landslide. So you concluded the process.
I want to ask Dr. Mulba. May I ask you a question? Sorry for inter. The way the NEC has been announcing the votes, they say, well, 50 out of 175 voting which account for 30%. So the people will hear the higher and lower votes from these 50 boxes, but they don't have an idea of what that represents as from the total set. You know, you may have these 50 boxes. Alex Coffey may have had 90%, but those 50 boxes only represented 30%. So they found out later of Gabriel, of the other 70 boxes, he has 90-something%. So the overall would be that Gabriel has greater. So this partial reporting that doesn't reflect the total percentage that this person has gotten, how do we justify that? Or is that the right procedure? Do you think is the right procedure? Because even in year we see the states, when the states report, they say so far only 50% of the vote is in, and at this point, so leading. Oh, well, I don't understand.
Well, I heard the report, but what I can address to that is I'm available to help if they have issue. My company is available. I can do it for free in the interest of Liberian people to help. But the methodology is a little bit confusing to me because a seasoned engineer called me from Liberia and said somebody had won by 50.4%. He didn't know he was referring to a minute portion of the numbers of which the person had 50.4. He concluded that the election was over. You see, listening to NEC, he concluded that, I had 50.4, it's finished. So 50.4 of what? You see, they gotta be very clear because people are listening to a higher number. Once you pass 50, they're listening now because they say whoever gets 50 plus gets the game. So some people have concluded, but this election is over. Why are they still counting? So it's a lot of confusion out there. Maybe the methodology being used should be refined. I agree with you. I agree with other people. The way she's announcing it should be refined, make it clearer. Yeah, but they should be given a chance to do their duty.
So, Dr. Moloba, let me distract us from the noise a little bit, okay? The noise is normal. When you have an election is a tense situation. So everybody be claiming victory here and there. These things it's not isolated to Liberia, all right? Parties can claim victories based on their disposition or whatever. So all the noise, even though the NEC, the National Election Commission, will do well to quiet the tension if they announce the results faster than they are because they are on a snail pace. However, I'd like to take you back to the issue that I raised earlier. The tally sheet, and I will ask Gabriel, I put a tally sheet in the chat room. You should display that tally sheet. Dr. Moluba, the tally sheet has the names. It's an official NEC letter-headed sheet. It has the names of all the candidates. It has total valid vote. It has total invalid votes. And it has the difference. So the valid votes and the invalid votes are determined at the polling station when the counting is done at the close of the polls. Whether if the election at that poll finishes at 11 o'clock in the night, whether it finishes at 6 o'clock in the night, there's a counting that is done at the polling station and the tally sheet is completed and signed by the parties involved. That tally sheet has valid votes and invalid votes. So I am a little concerned about your assertion that invalid votes are determined at the Election Commission.
You're trying to prove that these numbers out here are correct. Let me tell
I
you.
am not trying to prove that
no.
numbers out here are correct.
I'll give you
The
a chance
official
to
place to give the official result is the election commission, nobody else, not you and myself, not political party. But what I'm saying is, I'm trying to understand from an expert this whole data cleaning thing, and I brought in context the tally sheet, and you say no, that is not done at the polling station. So what I'm trying to tell you that is done at the polling station.
That's not what I said. Those numbers come from the polling station. The data is deduped at NEC, not at the tally station. You're reporting numbers. When NEC gets the number, she does her work and dedupe. Okay? Throw away the anomalies. NEC does data cleaning. And that's when you send your tally. Thank you for sending in. Thank you for the invalid vote. Thank you for all the day. We are going to validate before we announce. Your war rooms, they do not validate. They add number
Again,
like the
Dr. Moluba, let's remove.
Wait.
From the beginning, I said let's remove all these war rooms.
We cannot remove it because we cannot remove it because
stop discussing war rooms.
No, listen, I came for that. That's what I came for. That is the problem. The war room is the problem. They are saying here are our numbers. NEC must comply with this number, otherwise they have cheated. This is wrong, and this is causing the tension.
No, Moluba, you can't talk about war room, Benaya. We can't talk about official.
Wait a minute, but this is where the problem is coming from. I'm going to talk about war room. If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. But this is where the numbers are. Where you think these numbers are coming from that people have won? From where?
So here's my question to both of you. I mean, I'm a novice. I'm a novice with this whole election process in terms of how it works in Liberia. Does the tally sheet that is done at the polling station, that's done at the polling station, when it's transferred to the NEC place, right, wherever it is they do their tallying, are we agreeing or disagreeing that there could be changes from the tally sheet that was done at the polling station and the one that the NEC puts out officially?
100% agree.
And that is what I want Dr. Moluba to explain from his scientific point of view and start bringing in.
So
okay.
Here's the point we're getting confused then.
I came to clear some point here. I have to use a war room. So you can't stop me. That's the problem we have right now.
So here's where both of you are colliding. The collision is happening here. So I think the war room that we're talking about is the tally sheet that is done in the war room at the polling station that is tallying where all those invalid votes. Let me finish. Let me finish. All right.
Go ahead.
There's two. So supposedly there got to be two tally sheets. There's one that is done at the polling station where I think when you look at it, you see the invalid votes and everything else counted on there. When those are done, they're collected, transferred. I don't know whether we have vehicle, they put in a secure box or whatever it is, transferred to the NEC tallying place. And the NEC now puts out an official stamp one with their seal on it saying whether that correspond with the one that was in the tallying sheet, that doesn't matter, but saying this is what we validated from the tallying sheet that was taken from
you. So here's
So here's the point. There are two things that could happen here. Because there was a tally sheet that was done with all the invalid votes, that even accounting for invalid votes, when they transfer to NEC, there's a higher probability chance that when they clean up, it could be different from the tally sheet that the NEC puts out. That's one. The other thing that we're missing here is that this is not electronic. To say, oh, once you enter in a computer, it's clean, right? Transferring, anything can happen in the transferring process. I could put in some votes in the house on the way to transferring it. Some ballots could enter into that. So when it gets now to the NEC, that's when they put out the official numbers, which has the supposedly. I'm hoping this is how it works. We actually has their seal on it. Said this is the official data that came from poll 102, right? The problem that I'm having, and I think maybe both of you are getting, I don't know if this is a confusion, is that there is a high probability that the tally sheet that we are these people in the crowd and in the different war rooms are referring to the one that are done at the polling station and not the ones at the NEC puts out officially. If they were celebrating the one that the NEC puts out officially with the CO, I wouldn't have any problem with that. But the one that are coming in from the polling station and they're looking at all these stuff and then they are declaring winners, why the NEC has not really looked at those data, clean it up, and put an official one out, that's the one that I have a problem with. So I think
Okay.
maybe we have to address both of those tally sheets, right? The one at the polling station, the transferring process, and the one that the NEC puts out officially.
Okay.
Yes, Gabriel, hold on.
No,
Excuse me,
I'm
Daddy.
going to
Gabriel,
clarify
you-
something before we go further.
Gabriel,
Let me clarify something. When I say war room, please listen to me. Each party has its own war room and supporters. The people representing this party take this same screenshot and send it to the various war room, party war rooms, and they do their own addition and subtraction, and they declare the winner.
Yeah.
Whereas the same thing goes to NEC. NEC has not processed the document. So you see that. So what I'm saying is, you grab something that's going to NEC and it comes to you simultaneously to your own party war room. You do your calculation, and overnight you declare a winner. NEC has to process it, and there's a possibility that there are some erroneous outliers, wrong information in there that needs to be cleaned. They don't do cleaning. NEC does the cleaning. And if they don't do cleaning and NEC does the cleaning, obviously there will be a difference. This is what I'm saying. When I say war room, I mean individual parties have their own data centers. And they're the one producing their winners now. Before NEC has yet to produce. Definitely NEC announcement will be contrary to one or two of those. That's my fear.
Alex.
So, Gabriel, there is nothing wrong with people making projection. Analysts, data analytics, CNN,
and I respectfully disagree.
News. There's nothing wrong with, because even in the great United States of America, when the elections is held, various news organs, various analysts, election analysts do projection, and they say it's the presumptive winner.
Yeah.
So I could sit down based on my own analysis and say the presumptive winner would be this person, or this election is going to go to a runoff according to the Liberians' election laws. So there is nothing wrong with people making projections. Now, even though there is tension that the Election Commission could quell by doing this thing faster, but what I was trying for Dr. Molubat to explain to us is, Gabriel, I think you laid it down easily. Let me just recap what you said that I understood. When the election is held at the polling station, when the count is done, the ballot papers plus the tally sheets are taken to the centers, the election commission center in that county, in that area, all right, to all the different centers. That's when they do their work, their data work, to clean up data or some of the words, some of the scientific words that Dr. Moliba is using. That's when they do that. So yes, there could be some difference among the original data sheet and the official one. But that standard deviation, that deviation may not be too much. So that is the process I am concerned for Dr. Moliba to explain to the public, for us to understand that data cleaning process. For me, that's the question I keep asking Dr. Moliba.
Okay, I didn't come here to teach data science. I'm simple English. You just said presumptive. Are you hearing in Monrovia that there's a landslide for someone? Is that presumptive? You heard it. That somebody has one landslide. Is that presumptive?
Unfortunately, I didn't come here to discuss the say.
No, it's not the say. Yeah. I'm telling you. No. You see, you got to be real here. The people have created the illusion that somebody has won. NEC is yet to work. Anything contrary to what that person has said will create problem. This is what I keep to say here tonight. You have to understand that. So, if you're not understanding data cleaning, I can't go any further than that.
Let me provide some historical account here. In the Bush-Gore election, it was in Florida. At night, it was announced that Gore had won Florida, Florida being one of the big voting states, had he won Florida, he would have won the overall election.
Yep.
By morning, by daybreak, I don't know what happened to the votes.
We know what happened, but go ahead.
They said the man, brother or governor.
Yep.
Next thing we heard, Bush announced that his brother won the majority of the votes in Florida. That changed the entire election completely.
The election, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So there is a typical example, even in an advanced country, that people make these projections based on some tally sheets, but in the end, the conclusive vote is completely different than what was initially announced.
Yeah.
So what we trying to balance, I guess, is the NEC, and this is where we started, Alex. It is the NEC doing a proper job. Have they followed the procedures that there won't be reason for discrepancy? Are they transmitting and announcing the votes and the ballots in the proper way that there will be transparency that nobody will have any issue with? And then if these processes are not being followed, this is what leads to people second guessing, questioning whether the results we are getting are reliable.
I agree.
Yes, and may I just come in, brother Coffee? Few days ago, candidate A was in a lead. Just before I went to bed last night, candidate B is now in a lead. But yet we have people who have declared someone to be winner. Don't you see some problem coming?
Yeah.
Yeah, to answer your question, Dr. Moluba, I think you have a mission to accomplish, like you said. And I'm not here to play in that mission that you came to accomplish. I'm here
What
to
mission is that?
To debunk the data, to debunk the war rooms.
Which war room?
No, I don't.
Which war room? Which war room?
I think you're looking at this wrong, Alex.
Which war room, Mr. Coffee? Please. Which
no,
war
but
room?
Doctor said he has a mission, so I'm leaving that other mission with him. I'm going to play in that mission.
I came to play a role here as a data scientist. This election has left the political arena and entered my arena. And as a citizen of this country, of Liberia, that has educated me, it is my obligation to sound the alarm. That's what I came for. I did not come to debunk anybody. I came to prove them wrong, and I've done it.
Okay, so whatever alarm you came to sound, I don't want to be part of that alarm, so I'm leaving you alone. Let's have a conversation.
Let me say this. Let me say this. Let me say this quickly, right? Jimmy, that if you read Bush's memoir, he admitted to that his brother cheated in a different way. He admitted that his brother cheated, but anyway, that's a different thing. He jokingly said that in his memoir, which is crazy to happen in an advanced country. Yeah, I have a question in addition to what I'm saying here, right? Yes, I understand to be the best, you challenge the best. To be the best, you compete with the best. Meaning that Liberia, if we want a better democracy, we supposedly look to the U.S. as a better democracy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and that's a fair play, right? If you want to be the best, you compete with the best. You compare yourself with the best, and you imitate what the best do. It is okay. The problem with that is that people doing projection in this country. This country is a safe democracy. They follow the rules. Even there was any uprising like we saw at the Capitol riot,
right?
There were police that came in and they squelled that. We don't have that. 2 days prior to the election, somebody was killed.
Right.
There was many instances of violence leading up to the election, right? So I say this to say that in as much that is okay in a democracy, we have to do it cautiously, right? We have to do it in a cautious way because we are fragile. People don't understand we're very fragile. We're not even a tolerant people. Contrary to what most people say, with like imagine somebody just got killed 2 days ago in some part of the country because they were arguing about the same thing that we're arguing about here. Like we're not tolerant people. So in
Right.
as much that I think that that is okay to for people to put out those tallies, you have to do it cautiously. That's one. The second thing is that the NEC, I think the NEC is the biggest responsibility here. That has the biggest responsibility. If
Right.
they're seeing those kind of things going out of hand, the NEC has a spokesperson. They can come out and exercise caution. Hey, we're still counting votes. You
Yes.
guys, you know, proceed with these things with caution, or pretty much just shut it down. That whatever tally you guys are celebrating, it is not the official tally of the NEC. So that way, it dispel all of those people that are celebrating those tallies that are not officially from the NEC and are now put the responsibility. It shows leadership on their part if they have done that. That's one. The second thing is that the candidates. I always say this. I said this on another show 2 days ago. We are a rebirth democracy, meaning when we had democracy, the war came and scattered all of that, right? So we started the process again in 2006. What we need to do is the candidates, like this election that we're in, we understand we say this that the chief justices, the lawyers, and all of those people support the government. So if you bring any case, you will not get any justice. But in this case, I expected the candidates to come out. If I see Mike, if I were in this race, I see my supporters doing this whole war room projection. Oh, this candidate is one. I will caution them, and I think I will caution them. Hey, you want to win, but you want to win on a fair. You want to win fairly, right? Caution them and tell them, hey, let's wait for the NEC to declare that I'm a winner or my opponent is a winner, right? Not because you want to win and your candidates, your supporters are putting out all these false projections, so you're excited, you don't see anything. That could lead to violence, right? And the last thing I wanted to say here is that the tally, again, I go back to the tally sheets that are being put out, right, on social media in these war rooms. Are they the official tally sheet from the NEC or those from the polling station? Are you guys aware of that?
From the police
Because that
station,
that would
not
right
NEC.
that would actually solve this whole problem.
From
Because
the
if
police station, not NEC. From polling station, they take screenshots and send it there.
right,
Gabriel,
That's what they do.
Gabriel,
Okay, I have
Gabriel,
one. I have one question and something to say, please. May I proceed?
Go ahead.
The
yeah, go ahead,
European
Doug, and
Union
then
just
Alex.
debunked. The EU just debunked a fake news that they had agreed that somebody had won 90%. Check front page. EU came out and said no, it's fake news. Okay, and I have just one question for my brother Kofi. How many wonders do we have in the world? How many wonders?
the last time I heard they said there are 7 wonders.
So Liberia is the 8th wonder.
You heard it here first, people. You heard it here first. That is brilliant. I love it.
You always surprise me the word.
Why? Okay. Why?
You gotta get mission to do.
Why? I got
Why is
mission.
it? Why is it? I want to hear the reason behind that.
We always do the opposite of what the world expects.
Oh. Okay.
Think back.
Right.
Think
right,
back. Okay,
right.
just to make everybody laugh. Okay, let's
that was a good comic relief, Dr.
But
Right.
here is a general question I like to ask to bring it a little more serious.
No, Jimmy,
Huh?
before you ask a question, I was about to say something
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
before I
brother.
lost my train of thought. Gabriel, when the election commission come out to do the announcement, they've cautiously, every time they caution the public, they caution the party, they say these things that you're saying, they say them. They remind the public that the election commission is the final arbiter of the election results. And there is a process that if anybody is aggrieved, they can file a complaint.
Exactly.
Now, coming back to the tally sheet that you talked about, Gabriel, I'm referring to the comments you made.
Right.
the election commission office or the centers do not produce the tally sheet. Yes, they prepare the tally sheets and give it to them, but the tally sheets are collated at the polling station.
Okay, that's correct.
And they are transported to the centers.
That's correct.
For them to go through their process. So tally sheets are not created by the commission per se. It is created by the commission's polling center at every precinct.
The blank tally sheets are produced by NEC. The filled tally sheets are produced at the center polling centers.
So what does that tell you? There's more room for the numbers on those things being incorrect.
Right,
that's why we're trying. That's why.
No, but I don't. You see now, that's why I wanted somebody to explain that scientific process, because my layman understanding is that when I go to the vote to the box and I choose John and Peter Paul are on the list, right? And I'm supposed to take a box. John has his back, Peter has his back, Mary has her own box. I'm supposed to choose only in that box, either by my thumbprint or X, or by my thumbprint, right? Or correct mark, X or thumbprint. Yeah. There's a box. Now, if I do it correctly, that vote is valid. Right. If I go and check throughout the 3 persons, that vote is invalid. Or I do my penalty and I put a hole there, that vote is invalid. Correct. Or I do my thumbprint and go all over, that vote is invalid.
Right.
At the end of the day, those ballot papers, if there are 1,000 people voted in that place, their ballot is counted. Whilst they are doing that, they take your ballot sheet. Oh, their ballot sheet, the member, a whole thumbprint over the thing, because they are trained to identify that. Right. So this particular sheet is an invalid vote.
No.
Put it there.
No.
This particular sheet goes to John Brown.
Let him land.
Let's put it there. This particular sheet goes to Paul Pratt. Then they check it. Okay, 3 votes for John Brown, 4 votes for Peter Paul, 5, and then 6 invalid votes. We put all on the paper. So total people voted 1,000, total invalid vote 100, total vote cast 900, right? So that 900 is spread among the candidates that they voted for. Right. All that documentation, that ballot box, the tally sheets are then taken to the center for that counting. Right. Then now they will do their whatever based on the tally sheet, make sure that the tally sheet is a proper tally sheet that was approved by the NEC. Right. And then whatever data correction they do it there, then they announce it becomes the final result that NEC will now put out. Correct. That's what we're explaining here.
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Tom, you had an objection to that?
The total goes to NEC. They don't do dedupe before sending it to NEC. NEC receive the entire data set. No organization.
What do they call dedupe?
All the ballots.
To remove the duplicates.
Right.
I want to
deduplicate. Dedupe stands for deduplicate.
To remove duplicates.
All right.
So NEC has to receive the entire data set, not partial or cleaned. Otherwise, NEC has no function. Somebody is doing the job outside NEC. No. The entire tally sheet plus good or bad will be sent to NEC. NEC will then use for mechanism to dedupe, to remove outliers, anomalies, like my brother Jimmy referred to. There are some data that don't even match the situation. They become anomalous and they have to be removed. So NEC does the cleaning, the final cleaning before moving on to data analysis and visualization and announcing. So you see them sitting in front there announcing to you, they have done a lot of work. Okay. You are on the same page. Okay. You're understanding it. But we are saying if you take the raw data from the feed and go to your party war room and they just do addition, subtraction, Excel spreadsheet and announce a winner. Or the follower, it could be millions of people following this person. They say, oh, our candidate has won. We're just going out to pass on new clothes and be ready for inauguration. Then they hear the opposite. My brother Coffee, what do you think that people will do?
Dr. Moliba, in 2020, during the senatorial election, there was a case in point that the public knew that Darius Dillon had won the election even before the Election Commission announced the official result. That was based on the tally sheets from the various polling center in Moserado County that were put on the different walls. And Darius Dillon had those tally sheets, all those tally sheets, the pictures of the tally sheet. They took the pictures, not the actual physical tally sheet, but they took the pictures. And they too, everybody has their war room. They still send it there, they collate that. So they tie that. Now, when those tally sheets go to the Election Commission does a lot of things. They look at voter rolls, they look at different situations. They look at, like I said, they look at whether that tally sheet, in fact, is the official tally sheet, because in the process of transporting it, somebody could slip something false.
Okay, now I'm getting it.
So they do those things. I said this every time I spoke, I said this, that one of the things that Election Commission does, because their reliance is the tally sheet as the first point of call. So they got to make sure that that tally sheet is authentic. I haven't worked in the Election Commission. I'm not a data analyst, but based on my experience with Liberian election, that is what I'm explaining. All right. So they make sure that that tally sheet is authenticated, is the official tally sheet that was written on. And they take that now, compare things with the, because for example, the reason why they use the voter roll, these are numbers. They're not counting the ballots one by one at the centers. They look on that tally sheet, you got 1,000 people that voted. They got to do some comparison with the voter. Okay, if 2,000 people register at that polling center,
got to match it against
1,000 people. If 1,000 people voted, yes, it's possible. But if 2,500 people voted, no, it can't be, because that 2,000 people voted.
Correct.
Those are the kind of things they do at the place. So when you're talking about what it was again, deduping and all that stuff, that's what they do. Those are the things from my layman point they do. All right. And then after that, errors and things, they dedupe those errors and then come up with a final result. But that final result may not be too widely different from the original tally sheets from the polling center. If it's a wide difference, I believe, in my opinion, in my mind, that election will be a stalemate. Because you can have, for example, you can have 2.4 million people register to vote. Then you have 4 million people voting.
Yeah.
Of course, Election Commission will cancel that election.
Like the king election back then. But listen, Alex, to your point, Dr. Mulva, before you come in, to your point.
Okay.
This is my concern. And this is why I think the people, there's been a little bit of a brouhaha brewing amongst Liberians.
Mm-hmm.
The way that election results are being announced.
Yeah.
When someone hears 50 out of 170 boxes, they don't hear the 170 boxes. They hear 50 out of 170 boxes. This candidate got 90 some more percent. Yay! They forgot they have 120 other boxes they haven't counted. They haven't counted it yet. And this is why I'm saying, is this not a disservice? What we need to hear, out of all the boxes counted at this point, it is 100%, 40%, 50%. And out of this, all the boxes that are counted, whether it's 50%, is the person who leading. But not you count 50 boxes and you say this person get 50%. Then you count 20 boxes and you say this person get 80%. I think it is misleading and confusing for the everyday man like you and myself. Because 1 minute, the man, he's winning, but in actuality, we haven't even counted more than 10% of the votes.
Right.
So why is this information being disseminated in this manner?
Right.
And this is what's leading to our question and why we want to understand what procedure is the NEC following.
So let me say this quickly, and then
Gabriel, before you say, let me just back him. Or that is, for me, that was my last question to Dr. Moluba, that why is it taking so long? I mean, 15 days. There's history about even Nigeria with high population in Africa. They're taking about 3 days to announce. Ghana is taking about 4 days. Other countries taking. Why is Liberia taking 1 or 2 weeks to announce election result? Why is it?
Doc,
Sorry.
let me say this quickly, and Doc, you can come in,
Okay,
right?
go ahead, Carter. Go ahead. Go ahead,
Right.
Carter.
And so this is a point that I made 2 days ago as well. And people, when I say it, it's not, I don't mean it in a demeaning way. This is statistics. It's there. We're a country of 50% illiterate. This is not me. This is stuff that is out there. If smart people like yourself out here are confused about the way this is being done, right? What make you think about what do you think about the layman in Liberia? And do you even think that
Gabriel, point of correction, I'm not confused. I'm not confused.
I'm just saying, like the way the stuff is being done, like it's kind of baffling to smart people like yourself out here, right? And we have a population that is very illiterate. At least for you guys, you have the ability to question, like, hey, I mean, I understand how election work. I'm questioning this. Do you think most people in Liberia even have that to say, hey, let's question this the way they're not even questioning that. They're just celebrating, like Jimmy said. You know, they just whatever the NEC puts out, they take it at face value and they run with it. So that is one of the biggest reasons why I think the illiteracy rate that we have in our country is translated into how we understand this whole election process here. I just wanted to say that as well. All right. Go ahead, Doc.
Okay, Brother Kofi, you gave
question about why they're taking this long.
Yeah, I know. I will answer that last because you give a good example of Darrell Dillon winning in 2022 or something like that.
Yeah,
and
2020.
2020.
The public knew that Darrell Dillon had won the election before they came to the announcement, the official announcement, but that was from the tally sheet. That's why I said.
Okay, that was a favorable coincidence. So there was a possibility that he will win and not win, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you had a problem in that same election, right?
So then Darrell Dillon won the public perception tally, okay, but it was also possible that he could lose.
Mm-hmm.
So the situation we have here now, the tally sheet is calling somebody a winner. It's a possibility that it will coincide with next pronouncement, but it's also possible it will be the opposite. So when you have a chaotic situation, you have a tense nation coming out of 14 years of war. Why create a system like that to cause problem?
Exactly so.
Why?
Exactly.
Let NEC do its job. Why you have to go ahead and announce and then force NEC to take your numbers? If you don't take it, then it's problem. Why? Don't do it. Don't create a parallel system. Let the organization that has been assigned to do this job do its job. And why they're taking 15 days? By creation, the commission was created with that authorization time frame to announce results. So you can't force them. If you had told them 5 days, they would have done it in 5 days. But the commission was created with that authority that you have 50 days to give a final result. So they can take slow, they can do it faster, they can do it slower. They must meet the deadline on the 25th. That's why they're doing what they want to do. Okay, go ahead. I'm done.
I like to add to that, Alex.
Yes, sir.
I remember during that election, there was something between Telia Ure and she was running against. I don't know who.
In Lockington, District 15.
District 15. It was also believed that she had the majority of votes.
Right.
What we saw in the end, she lost. You know, especially when there's a narrow margin, we see that things can be manipulated. But the margin between Dillon was so large, there was no room for manipulation from what we could gather. And so It is, I think what Dr. Mobile is saying, we as much as we have our war rooms, but shouldn't we not temper it with exercise of caution?
Yeah.
Only because we don't want to create a situation, that will not be able to control in the end.
That's right.
And that's what's the important part. Our people, we've seen a lot. We saw the election of Dole, and some people say it was corrupt. Where is the evidence that it was? What evidence do we have? Did anybody see tally sheets? Were tally sheets being displayed during those days? My man, you were not too young, man, Alice. 1985.
So
1985?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1985 I voted.
Thank you.
Okay. So answer the
Did you
question.
see tally sheets? Did you see tally sheets? You saw tally sheets?
how did you vote?
No, even though the opposition boycotted the result of the election, but the way it was done, my man, we ain't even got to see that. You know that election, my man.
Let's go for
Okay.
basic running is talking about talent sheet.
No, that time they no, my man, the way that election was held.
Yeah, it was done.
There's no comparison.
He was
There's no comparison
handpicked.
with 85 elections now.
He was handpicked, and that was, I read about it. I was about 1 year old at that time, but I read about it, and he was literally handpicked. Can you imagine going for a second recount and you bring the people and no opposition party was present in that place? None, not one. And you come out and declare the president winner.
Our first time voter. It took months. It took months for them. They had to bring the back seat. They had to have a center. I remember I was young then. First time voter. They had to bring the thing to the United Conference Center, and they said the plane that was bringing us on the ballot buses from from the southeast, they drop in the water.
Oh, and I the same thing with Yeri.
Okay.
What I the same thing with Yeri again?
No, but you can't compare any since 2005. You can't compare. In fact, since 1997 election, you can't compare with that, man.
But the man asked you all for millions of dollars to go away. You refused.
You see?
So what are you expecting him to do? He asked for money. Say, give me money, man, and people go back to the barracks.
Oh.
No, I don't think that he was. That was the U.S. that orchestrated that. I don't like to talk about
So,
it.
my mission here tonight, brother Coffee, is to try to inform the public to be calm, to wait for NEC to produce a result. If they're not satisfied with it, we'll have a court, and then to have a stand that some are buying the court suit for inauguration, and then why is going to be so disappointing if it doesn't go that way? That's my fear, because we are still licking wounds from 14 years of war. We don't want another problem.
Yeah, Dr. Monoba, did you offer your services to, just a quick question, did you offer your services, have you ever offered your services to the National Election Commission?
Yeah. I'm doing it publicly now in this crucial moment. My company is MEM Data. That's money, exploration. We have mineral exploration, money, and data management consultancy. I'm right here in.
Have you worked with them before? The election commission?
No, I've made effort to work with them, but Liberia is difficult to break through. But I'm saying in a public manner here, I'm willing to help with this crisis free of charge, to make sure that we temper this thing down, because we don't want any other situation. We've had enough. We're still living wounds.
Yeah.
But the other ship, the particular ship here left the station already, the particular election ship.
Yeah, but it can be detailed. It can be detailed about publicly announcing to people, disregard what you heard, wait for NEC.
No, regarding offering your services, the other election cycle gone already. That ship left the dock already.
But I haven't left. My things are still packed. I haven't unpacked yet. Okay, I'm done.
All right, let's take a break, and then after that we have a lot of comments, and we can go to the comments, and then I think we're at the hour, right over the hour. Then we'll wrap up.
we can allow callers. Will we take callers?
Oh, we didn't set up for that, though.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't set up for that. We'll just, I think we have a lot of comments here to keep you busy. So if you're watching right now, where if you're planning on calling, you have time to just go into the chat and leave your comment and perspective on it. After this, we'll go back to that. Thank you.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Ja.
Hi, my name is Addie Tyler from Pennsylvania, and you're watching Focus on Liberia.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Focus on Liberia on the Marketplace. We have been talking about data integrity during this whole election process, and Dr. Mulba was able to walk us through the data process, and we actually try to put it into the context of what is happening with this whole election debacle. So if you've been following us, we're now going on to the comment section. And if you have any question, we didn't set up the phone line today, so please do, resort to the comments and leave your comments or perspective, and hopefully we'll have enough time.
Before the comments, Dr. Moluba, just one follow-up question. Besides Liberia, have you worked for other election systems?
No, I work in data in Ghana. Actually, my original profession is mining engineer. I'm also a mining engineer besides being a data scientist. So I process a whole lot of data. And my PhD doctorate dissertation was based on data analytics and predictive analytics. So this is my territory. That's why they left the political arena and have entered the data arena. We're no longer in politics now. Election has entered the data phase. So I'm coming in to help, not to destroy, to help. So yes.
So you haven't worked in any election system?
No, but election system that deal with data, in that case, yes, because eventually it's data analytics, medical, mining, shipping, everything has to do with data. In the final analysis, you have to process your data in order to get some predictions. So I know I don't have to work in NEC, but once it's dealing with data, I know that the end result is to give information of who won and who didn't win. So yes.
Data is the new gold.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, let's go into the comments, and then we can, So Sam Wallow. Hopefully, I'm saying his name correctly. He's been. He said NEC has completed the counting. NEC has completed accounting for one of the counties at 100%. Use that county final count against what they tallied for the county reported and see if there is a difference. Do you guys understand what he's trying to say here? I don't.
Yes. What he's saying there is NEC has dedupe. Let me use some word from my friend. NEC has done 100% and clean the data. So what he's saying that the so-called war rooms, they should bring their tallies from those places and compare the numbers.
Mm-hmm. I see.
You'll see a difference. You'll see a difference, and that tells you that NEC number will be far different from the war rooms because NEC has done due diligence and clean the data.
Right.
So that's a subset of the data set that he's referring to. So Warren is on point.
Right.
Yeah, but Dr. Moluba, excuse me, Dr. Moluba, you can make that kind of statement because Wallo make a good suggestion. He says NEC has completed one county. Take that county official result from NEC and compare it with some of the data, some of the announcements that are out there and see whether, but you're making a sweeping statement without doing that.
It's not a sweeping statement. I'm speaking from the point of authority in this field. I can guarantee you there'll be a difference.
That more about that thing, no authority, but it's simple math. Okay.
It's not mathematics. This is not mathematics.
Coming from the
So I think this is
not mathematics. Please understand. This is not mathematics. This is data science.
It's comparison. We're just comparing two things.
Okay, so I think this is what Sam Waller is saying. So if NEC has already completed one of the counties, right? What he's trying to say, I think the big discrepancy that we keep having here is that the tally from the polling station and what NEC is putting out officially, there got to be a discrepancy. So what he's saying is that if there's a county that's already been completed, take that county and now from the official one from NEC and the one that was tallied at the station and compare it to see if there's difference. If you see that there is difference, then you can project that, okay, there will be discrepancy in the other counties that will be completed to say,
and the
so
margin of the
exactly, that will give us an awareness. And now if there's also a possibility that there won't be any difference. So that will give us a good indication whether the tally at those stations and what NEC is putting out is accurate as well. But that will be a good example if they are completed.
Yeah, why that is good, why there's a good example. One is an official entity, the other is unofficial.
Yes, I agree.
What compare the two? One is commission, one is not. It doesn't apply. It doesn't apply. We don't need to do that because you compare things that are authorized and authentic.
Yeah, but at the moment, you see, your mission is to debunk the war room, so that's a good way of debunking the war room.
You assume my mission. That's not my mission. My mission is to spread the word so that there's peace and there's no violence, there's no instability in Liberia. That's my mission.
Okay. So the same guy, he said, the doctor is ready for the show today. He has his own agenda. Just leave him alone, Alex. So I guess people are thinking that you have an agenda to.
Yeah, my agenda is to make sure there is no instability due to this data misinformation. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know why people don't understand that. This is how election works. Like, you got to follow the process. This is R. Toby. I think this doc is somehow arrogant because some of his choices of words is proven. My man, we're not being arrogant here yet.
Thank you, Toby. You're still my friend.
There you go. All right, so let me see this one.
Listen, let me come in briefly. Actually, we appreciate these comments from Al, from Sam. We brought the reason for our discussion is to take a look at the other side. We know people are fervent, they are believers in their candidate, but we want to let them know that the information you are getting is not quite clear cut. And it may be skewed, or if you are maybe informed in a way that will be incendiary because they have not given you all the facts. If somebody has won 90% of 50 votes and 1,000 remain out there, the person has not won yet.
Yes,
temporary.
Correct.
So why is it that we're not understanding that? Why is it most people are not understanding that? Like,
Gabriel, please read my comment in the private chat.
Yeah, because their mind have been conditioned that somebody has won.
Okay.
That's the problem we have.
Yeah. All right, so let's go on to where were we? Hopefully I can bring us back here.
All right.
Okay, so we have another one here. Said the EU story to correct a fake story that said the EU had announced a winner with 90% of the vote counted.
That's what
that is what the EU related to.
Yes, Wallo is saying that they issued a counter statement,
right?
Because it had been announced somewhere that the EU had said that 90% of the vote was counted, and the EU said no, we did not say that. And this is the same thing there are people being misinformed. There's a lot of enthusiasm we see today, and you know what? It looking for all argument. It looking like the UP party has made a significant showing, but is it over yet?
No.
Let's watch. Let's wait and see.
Exactly.
And that's the main thing, because there has to be what we used to call it, Alex, conscience, some moral conscience, or we must temper our exuberance, so that we never go overboard, and we keep on pushing Liberia where it's supposed to go.
Absolutely. Dr. Pai was in Africa. It is.
I'm not here to discuss any particular party. I'm here to discuss election.
Dr. Pai was in Africa. It is becoming clear that those who vote are not the true voice of the people. Rather, it is those who count the votes.
Yes.
Ooh.
May I say something about that?
Yeah.
Dr. Edison Pajibo, you are so right. And Joseph Stalin of Russia said this many years ago. They said, you don't believe in democracy. Why? He said, I don't believe in democracy because in democracy, those who vote don't determine who wins, it's those who count the vote. Joseph Stalin. So that's what Dr. Pajibo is saying right here now. He's right. In most cases, those who vote are not the one who determine who wins, but those who count the vote. Now, counting is numbers, data. This is where we are concerned. If you manipulate the data, you sway the vote.
Exactly. And more, let me add there. In Africa, we see the US CIA and all reporting that the African elections were not fair. So where is this manipulation happening? At what point? If people go and exercise the franchise, and then they count the vote, then we look somebody else one, like what happened in Nigeria, even right next to Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is widely believed that it was. So where would this manipulation go on? Where? And so we need to be wise to see, so we can see where is this manipulation possible. So when
those who count the vote,
yeah, we can flag it. We need to flag it if it's going.
Yeah, you're right. The election in Nigeria was, fraudulent. The same thing with the one in Sierra Leone. So, you have two incidences around you. The next thing you having an election, you have to be very vigilant about the possibility of that happening as well. So this is why all these international institutions and
so this laid the argument on the formation of LRDS, Liberia Integrated Database System. When we have that, we'll have this on the side, data specialists producing data. LRDS.
Yeah. So we have another comment here from Emmanuel Jackson. He said Liberia has become electioneering political economy. All government functions have stopped in the country since the election started. Actually, he's right. Looting going on at government ministries. Yeah, did you guys hear about that? And etc. We are reduced Liberia to to a non-functional state. Yeah, did you guys hear about that? They said there's I mean, I don't even want to put that out there. There's speculation that people are beginning to take state properties out of state offices. I think that's disappointing.
So a lot of people are thinking, if there's going to be a change of administration, we will see a whole new flood of people. This tells us that our civil service is partisan, because just because a new administration is coming in should not so greatly affect our civil servants. If we do not work toward a civil service where it's nonpartisan, where it's functional, we will never be the nation we want to be.
Mhm.
When someone, if Alex is the chief accountant for this ministry, just because they're changing the minister doesn't mean he will stop being the chief accountant.
Mhm.
But if we continue being partisan, if we don't allow our people to be professional and neutral in their job function, we'll see these sort of things.
Yeah.
Alex,
okay,
Go ahead.
go ahead, Alex. Go ahead, Alex.
Alex, any comments on this comment?
Um,
No. If you don't have any, that's fine. Doc, go ahead.
that is
Yeah.
that is something that it's one of the things that the government has to put a stop to. They got to find, because it happens, right? Because when one government changes hand, it's like it's the way we do it is, even it happens everywhere. Winner takes all. So that means you come to see a slew of new officers. So the old officers are getting prepared to leave because they know they're not going to stay there. So,
But not the civil servant though. Civil servant don't have, unless they like they appointed people that comes with the government. Those are the ones who do that, right?
no, not the civil servant. No.
Right.
That is above from the appointed officials of, for example, in the ministry,
Right.
or even in the agencies, from the assistant minister, assistant director positions up.
Yeah.
Depends on the situation, right? So, it's something that shouldn't be happening, really. Yeah.
Doc.
Not much I can say about this because I don't have the data to understand it. But again, we talk about incompetent people who are placed in position who are not qualified. In this case, where we have this problem, people have just portrayed themselves into areas they don't have any understanding, by becoming data czars and creating this problem. It's the same thing with job. You put people in position they're not qualified for. People have assigned themselves to be data analysts and now are producing numbers and sharing it with people. Now we have this discussion. So if we just try to do the right thing and give the organization that is empowered to do this job and wait for the result, I think we'll be in calmer water.
Yeah. So I have a question for you guys. And again, this could be actually be a very ignorant question. Do we have inventory of every state property? Let's say if the government come in, it doesn't have to be, let's say you run the Ministry of Lands and Mine. Is there like for each ministry, is there like an inventory, and every department within that ministry, is there like an inventory of every properties, right? If you replace the computer, there got to be some record of it somewhere. So if I'm coming in and you're leaving, I know exactly what you met there, and I know exactly what I'm going to
Once
get.
upon a time, I can tell you, I probably older than everybody here. Once upon a time,
right?
GSA used to mark they had an inventory system,
Right?
And every item in the ministry, okay, I'm not talking perishable items, the refrigerator, desk, they would have that. It would be stenciled with a code,
numbers, right?
From the GSA.
Probably we don't have that right now.
Today, Liberia is still recuperating from just being accountable. Accountability has not been restored in Liberia.
20 years after war?
It has not. And every subsequent administration is failing to do this. You see, because once you restore accountability, then when the day you move from there, you can be audited.
Right. That's what I would think. Let's say I run this office. I should know how many computers that I came in that were in the office. And if I replace one, it's got to be, there's something in that inventory that will say, oh, this guy, he came in, he bought an old computer, he bought a new one. So these are state property. So if somebody else, let's say Alex comes in, he knows exactly what was there, and he knows exactly. So that way, if I'm leaving, if I steal anything from there, Alex comes in, he just goes to the inventory list and say, hey, such and such and such is missing. Where is it? You know, the fact that we're having this kind of discussion is it's anyways.
I think
Okay, there is. Okay,
Gabriel,
go ahead. After you finish.
Patrick Dozie made a counter statement that if you guys claim that we should wait for NEC to give the result from the, it's somewhere down one of the last comments.
I think this is what you. If you guys claim that we should wait for NEC to give the result from the election, then why should you guys agree to people looting government ministry? Did we agree to that? Why should you guys agree to people looting government ministry?
That's what I say. I have no record.
When you have not seen it, but just hearing from people. But
that's what I
we're not agreeing to that. None of us is agreeing to those people looting. Matter of fact, we're speaking against that.
Okay. You talk about this. Now we have records of what's in the various ministry, but they are silos. They are not connected. Every ministry has its own way of managing their assets. And I can tell you a story. In 1995, I was then chief mining engineer of Liberia at the Ministry of Lands and Mine. An assistant minister went, and the European government giving about 15 to 16 computers for lands and mines. The computers came, and because I had just earned my associate degree in computer science, I was the one to look after. The computer were in a minister's office. I'm not going to call his name. He told me he said, look at those 5 computers. I said, yeah. He said, you're not going to see them again. You all know what I mean, right? There were 15 computers. We put 5 on the side. He said, you see those 5 computers? I said, you're not going to see them again. I knew what it meant.
Yeah.
So that means we only have 10 computers left. Now, if we have a Liberia integrated database system, I will be able to track that computer. I'll be able to track any asset in those ministries, because you have the user interface to enter the data. Your asset will be entered, but you cannot manipulate it after you enter it.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to tell you, oh, the Minister of Finance have 10 computers, they gave 5 away. By simply updating my database, because the person who is the custodian of the data cannot be the judge and jury on the data. That's one basic principle of data analytics. So
but Dr. Moba, they're asking you a question. Number one, why would you hide in the name of a person who stole? And then number 2, this is a good time for you to introduce your project to create a central database for the Liberian government and public.
The name of the minister?
They said, why are you leaving? Why are you leaving that out?
To be professional, I allude to it so you can see that it happened. I know the name, but I don't want to be personal. But this is happening. The Bureau integrated database system is needed, and that will solve a lot of problems, economic, finance, because all agencies will be linked to this one database system, and then we control what manipulates it. You want to update, you send us a request. Once you put it in, you cannot take it out. If you are the Ministry of Finance, you put 15 computers, you can't just say far gone.
Yeah.
Because we have to allow you to update. Yeah. And we'll ask you why we don't have 5.
Yeah.
So you see, we have then Liberia will be on a path to economic recovery, because
I would without prolonging this, I thought that when we came out of the war, the next president who took over would have had a good foundation as to not the granular items, things to do, but the foundational level, like this level of inventory, all of these little things to do to make sure that, hey, at least we have a foundational level of how to first protect assets in the different ministries at all. But 20 years on.
I want to be in the Dr. Mobile says, and as Sam Wallow said, protecting thieves is unprofessional. Let me tell you why you can't just come out and call
And
me
claim somebody. Yeah, exactly.
because there's litigation.
Yeah.
Because when you come out and say
Yeah.
something, now the burden on proof is on you.
On you.
Right.
Yeah. Evidence.
So when you get ready to say that, you better get ready to prove it, or you could be in a long, prolonged court battle. Remember what happened with one minister of agriculture, one newspaper accused him of misuse of government funds. And that newspaper, I think they will find $1 million plus
Right.
in damages.
Agriculture minister, I think.
Yes. So you have to be very careful. And when you name people, because you will have to provide the proof. So that is why sometimes you just don't name anybody.
So I have another.
Gentlemen, I gotta take a leave, right?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
you're not leaving.
No, I got a program to go to.
So, go to the inauguration. So
Yes. When it comes to the government stuff, Eastman is right, but Eastman, the one you explained about the GSA that Norman Day after the war, Dr. Molba is right. It's in silos, yeah, because it's like ministries, agencies are responsible for their own thing. So within the context of each agency, anything can happen. But again, like I will say, I will look at what Patrick say and what Sam Wallow said. I don't believe looting stories until you see the video. But before I leave, let me throw a little monkey wrench in this thing. Gabriel, my man, the whole election team, what the Appeton guy are gaining votes, my man.
You want
Dr. Monoba, what you say about that?
We didn't come here for that. I have a whole theory on that and speculations, and I don't think it's valid.
He's on the ballot, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, he's on the ballot. He's number one.
Okay, so people voted for him.
No, I just wanted to like I said,
I know what he's going with that. He just want to piss me off.
You have to try.
Try again. I just want TZ. I just want piss you off.
It's okay. It's okay.
Well, that's it, gentlemen. I see you, man. You have a good show.
See you later.
Yeah, bro. Coffee, you can get my number from Carter. You can get my number from Carter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so I think this should be the last question before we wrap up, unless you guys want to look at. So this guy said, this is Michael Padmore. He said, government does not supply most items in ministry. Individuals seek those things personally. Wow. And therefore take it with them when they leave. Do you guys see the problem in here?
Yeah,
can you imagine me bringing my own computer to do government work, and when the term is over, I'm taking that? There's how much government data and secret stuff items could be on that data, and I just walk out because that is my own laptop that I brought in to work, or computer.
It's true. It's true.
We're not. I'm sorry to say, but we're not a serious country.
Yeah, we're the if wonder.
Yeah. So. I will remember that. That is hilarious. If wonder of the war. All right, last comment from Larry, and then we'll wrap up here. At the city of Houston, I serve as data admin to M5 system that track every city government equipment, everything. We use Verizon GPS to locate stolen equipment. Liberia could use similar software. Hallelujah.
Larry Kennedy, so on point. This is one of those things that will be within a LRDS, the integrated database system.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, we're right over the hour. Wow, we're 10 minutes over. We went over an hour. We're hour 40 minutes in. So, I think we should wrap up. I know a lot of, and it's unfortunate to hear that most people are in favor of this whole, the crowd taking pictures of the tally sheet and projecting their candidate as winner. I don't know why people don't understand that there could be discrepancy between those tally sheets and what NEC puts out, and I don't know why they don't understand that it is okay to do it in other countries, but in our country we should be very careful how we go about it because we're very fragile. There's evidence all around, um, you know, before the election or even during the election. Um, so I'm glad Doc, you were able to come out here and talk to us about, data integrity and how, we should be looking at data. So hopefully, everybody was able to learn anything from, this discussion this evening. Doc, before we wrap up, do you have any final comments? You can take it from any angle you want to look at it about this whole discussion.
Like I said, the separating point in the approach of the various war room and that of NEC is the data cleaning. And I want to say here that data cleaning doesn't mean it drastically change the data sets. There could be few anomalies, few outliers. It doesn't drastically change it in anybody's favor.
Yeah.
That's why I want to explain here that if you wait, you probably get the same result that you're looking for. But don't announce it to your followers and let their mind be conditioned and to go and start sowing clothes for inauguration. And then it comes the other way. That's my fear. It comes the other way. The layman will not understand. But you told us the man want to then, and so you're wasted. The NEC now is dragging her feet.
Yeah.
It gives more room to suspicion that they're doing something. So the result, opposite, they say that's why NEC took long. You see, and their justification to go in the street. So we try to appeal to the people. Listen to your people, but don't swallow a hook and sing. Just wait and compare with the final result and accept whatever NEC say. If you're not satisfied, there is the court.
Yeah, thank you. There you go. Right. Jimmy.
Okay, good. Doc, we really appreciate you coming here. On Focus on Liberia, what will you try to do unrelated to, unbiased to any political party? But let's examine the facts. Let's look at the professionalism being applied. And so we can guide our people, until we look at things in a sober, unbiased way, we may be fooled. So we provide that sobriety. We're not going to be fooled by anybody. Is this thing done professionally or not? If it's not done professionally, we already called it. So nobody fooling us yet.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Nobody's stupid yet.
Nobody's stupid yet. Thank you.
Thank you for hosting me. As always, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, Doc, and thank you guys for the lecture on this whole data process. As I said, every time I talk to you guys, I learn something new. So, thank you. I hope you guys were able to pick something from here. Where, as I keep saying, we're a young rebirth democracy. We got to proceed with caution and just follow rule for once. If they say stay in line, you stand in line and wait your turn. If they say wait for NEC to put out the official numbers, let's do that and start celebrating early. Don't count the chicks before the egg hatch. That's what we're doing. So I hope you had a good time. I hope you enjoyed. And if not, you can join us here next Saturday for the next session of Focus on Liberia. And as we always say, we are all Liberians, and we'll leave you with that song. See you guys next Saturday. Yeah.
Thank you.
Doc, thank you.
Okay.
If I can find this song, I will play it. Yeah.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home. Liberian people.